Hey writers! Welcome to another day in Bench 3 of our Small Moment Narrative Unit. So we have brainstormed, we have planned, and we have started drafting. Some of you might even be revising, especially since yesterday you spent some time getting inspired by other writers. You read like a writer. So while you read, you thought about the things that the author was doing to help you enjoy the book as a reader. Then you went back to your writing and you wrote like a reader. You thought about your readers while you wrote, making sure that the words that you chose and the way that you wrote was making your readers enjoy your story and feel like they were there. When I showed you, I was using the book The Leaving Morning. Today I've been exploring a different author, George McClemens, the author of Night of the Veggie Monster. Now, whenever I read a book, the first time I just read it through so I can get to know the story and the characters. But the second time, I go in and I start to analyze and really think hard about what the author is doing to make me enjoy the book as a reader and to make me feel like I'm in the story and like I can picture and feel it in my brain. So let's start by just reading the story. Night of the Veggie Monster by George McClemens. Something terrible happens every Tuesday night. It's not the pork chops or the mashed potatoes. It all starts when I'm forced to eat. Time for another fun-filled hour. Peas! A whole 3 tonight. My parents act as if I'm making it all up, but I am not. I wonder how soon before he starts. Oh, it should be any minute now. They have no idea what one tiny pea does to me. With just the slightest touch, it begins. And we're off. My fingers become all wiggly. Ah, I knew he would start with the fingers. As the pea rests in my mouth, my eyes begin to water. My toes twist and curl up in my shoes. That's a new one. I squirm in my seat. I try to keep control, but the pea is too strong. I start to transform into a veggie monster, ready to smash the chairs, ready to tip the table, ready to great pork chops tonight. Gulp! I swallowed the pea. I actually swallowed the pea. It tasted all right, really. Quite a performance this evening. I particularly enjoyed the toe curling. Well, I guess peas are okay, but there is still a danger. Because tomorrow is Wednesday, and on Wednesday we have broccoli! Here we go again. What a fun story, readers and writers. So while I was reading this, I was just enjoying it. I was thinking about the characters and the humor and the parents and the pictures and all the fun things and just having a good time. This time when I read it, I have a different purpose. I'm analyzing, which means thinking hard about what the author, George McClemens, does to make me enjoy this book. So when I went back and read to analyze what George McClemens did, I noticed a lot of things he did to help me enjoy what he wrote, which I wrote on Post-its. So I noticed that he uses these dots a lot, which are called ellipses, to get readers excited about what comes next. It all starts when I'm forced to eat, ... Peas! So that's something I like to try in my writing. I also noticed that he uses capitals wrong, but he does it on purpose. He uses all capitals to show that a word is important so that we read it in a bigger way. Like, my parents act as if I'm making it all up, but I'm not. So he wants us to read that a little more loudly, a little more emphatically to show that the character feels like he's not making it up. It's really awful that he has to eat peas. I also noticed that George McClements writes different words in his speech bubbles than he does in the text. So like sometimes in my text I'll write, I said I'm hungry, and then in my speech bubble I'll write I'm hungry, so it says the same thing, but I noticed that his speech bubbles have different words than in the text. I wonder how soon before he starts. Oh, it should be any minute now. So that's something I like to try in my writing too. Finally, something else I noticed about what George McClements does is that he uses fun, alive words to describe feelings. Like here, he uses the word wiggly to describe the boy's fingers. These are all things I want to try in my own writing. So after being inspired by George McClements, I went back to my own work and I made some changes. Here's what I had before. "Ugh," I exclaimed, "I am so tired." My eyes had dark circles under them, and sweat slid down my forehead. "We have been hiking all day. Can we stop and get something to eat?" "Sure," said Matt. So we set out to find the perfect restaurant. We saw a rundown Italian restaurant and a grill with a line out the door. After looking for 20 minutes, we spotted a tall wooden building with strings of bright, shining lights. After George McClements, I tried out some different things. I tried to use more alive words, like he did when he described the boy's fingers as wiggly. And instead of saying, "I am so tired," I said, "I am exhausted." I also tried using those all caps for some of my words to make the words stand out. So, "We have been hiking all day. Can we stop and get something to eat?" I also tried to use ellipses like he did. So after I talked about how we saw different restaurants, I said, "We saw a rundown Italian restaurant and a grill with a line out the door. 20 minutes later, ... there it was, a tall wooden building with strings of bright shining lights." Writers, I got a lot of inspiration from George McClements today that I could add to my own writing. I wonder what you'll find as you investigate the books in your book box. I wonder what inspiration you can take from published authors and add to your own writing. I can't wait to see. Enter the space of the writing workshop. The writing workshop has begun.